everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to paint some watercolor pears, so let's do it! Okay, so to get started, I'm going to go through my materials. I have my Arches watercolor paper, I have my Winsor Newton Cotman watercolors in my palette, I have a Princeton snap brush in a size 12, and I also have my paper towel and my water, and I'm ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to be painting pears today. I don't really have an idea of how I'm going to arrange this. I think I'm just going to wing it. And they're different color pears. They're the brown pears, green ones, yellow ones. So I think we're just going to mix it up. But as the fall comes around, I think of fall like harvest and I get really excited. So I think I'm going to be doing a lot of fruits and vegetables this month. So bear with me through that. So I think I'm going to take my yellow ochre color here and do more of a yellow pear. So to get that pear shape, you're just going to go smaller at the top, just a light curve at the top, and then just bigger at the bottom. And obviously all fruit is not shaped the same, so, you know, just have fun with it. Don't worry about it being a perfect shape. Just get that larger at the bottom, smaller at the top shape. And I have a light wash of yellow ochre, like that. Okay. Ta-da. Now I'm just gonna go back in with a bit darker color, and I'm just gonna go along the bottom, maybe a bit around the top. I'm just gonna add some texture just by, you know, doing some dots and stuff. I think I'm gonna take my burnt umber color as well and mix it a bit with this yellow ochre and just get that dark edge around the bottom and a bit where that stem will be. Do some dots like that. And a simple pear like that, honestly, that's about it. Like that. Okay, and now I'm gonna wait to do the stem, but I'm gonna do other pears kind of around it, and I'm gonna do different colored pears. So I'm going to take just a light wash of this yellow, whatever's left over, because it's a pretty easy color to blend with others. And I'm just gonna do another one. I'm gonna let it bleed into that one, just by touching it lightly. Again, kind of a smaller shape at the top and bigger on the bottom. And I'm going for kind of more of that loose vibe, kind of like how I did my apple painting. So that's why they're bleeding into each other. I think I'm going to add a bit of green on this one. This is going to be more of a greeny pear. I'm just dropping some color in wherever I feel necessary. I'm not really thinking about too much like shadow and stuff. Maybe towards the bottom, I'll make it a bit darker, but I haven't really picked a light source for this one where I'm thinking light is coming from here or anything. I'm just kind of creating some depth with just creating darker areas and brighter areas. I might actually take some of that brown, a bit of like orangish, just mix it up. Maybe a bit of red. Throw it in there. And while it's wet, it will look like this, but once it starts to dry, it changes a bit. So I really like that yellow ochre because it's kind of like an orangey yellow. It's a warm yellow. I like the way it looks. It's a very fall color. I'll mix with some brown there too. Just going back to my other one, just adding a little bit of dots. think I'm gonna blend this out a bit. I don't know if I like the sharpness and color. That. Maybe I'll do another one down here. Trying to think of other colored pears that are really fall. Maybe I'll do more of an orangey rustic pear. So I'm gonna take the yellow ochre as my base. And I'm just going to do another one down here. Because I think I'm gonna do like branches and leaves up here. That's what I'm thinking. So this one, I'm not gonna add any green. I'm gonna go for more of a yellow, orange, brown, kind of like this one, but a bit darker, I think. So I'm gonna just bring in the brown over here so you guys can see it. Take some of that burnt umber. I'm gonna also take some orange, cadmium orange. Again, while this is starting to dry, I'm just adding a bit of darker color in there. It's not completely dry yet, but it's starting to dry, so I just wanted to throw some color. Might get a bit red too. Just blending it out. A bit more orange in there. Too orange. I'm just gonna go for some straight brown. Just more shadow at the bottom, I think. When you're doing a painting like this where you're adding a lot of like extra texture and more paint and darker bits, it does help to have a really good paper that blends well. Otherwise it can look patchy, and because you're adding so much water, you can have a lot of those watermarks. So if that is happening, that's probably because your paper isn't holding the paint and the water as well. You might want to upgrade to some different paper, but that's probably why. So don't get frustrated. It's not you, it's your paper. Okay, so now I am going to take a smaller brush. So I was using a size 12, and I'm going to take a size, I have a size 2 here. I don't know where my other bigger one went. I'll use a size 4. And I'm just gonna create a stem. So I'm just mixing burnt umber and black right here just to get a nice dark brown. And now this is still wet, so it will bleed out a bit, but I'm just going to do a little dot there. Let it bleed a bit, like that. That. I'm gonna go back and take my bigger brush again, and I'm gonna do some green leaves. So I have my sap green color here, and there's other greens already on my palette, so it's gonna mix a bit. I might take some direct sap green and touch that stem a bit, so some of that brown bleeds into it. That. do one with a bit darker color. Remember, I like when it bleeds into the actual pear and stuff like that. So if you don't like that look, that's totally fine. You don't have to have it bleed into each other like that. I'm gonna switch up my greens now. I might actually make a darker green here. So I'm just adding Hooker's Green Dark and some purple to get a nice dark hunter green color. And they don't all have to connect to the pears. You can just have some leaves going, oops, and I just dropped a bunch because there's a lot of paint. It's all good. It's gonna go with it. There's a lot of paint on that, and that's okay. More of a gray leaf here, using more purple. It's bleeding into that pear. I'm gonna do a lighter one just by adding more water to my brush. Just changing up the values just to make it a bit more interesting to look at. Just throw one down here. I'm just going to throw some darker bits into the stems of some of these. Like that. And you can keep going or stop whenever you like. I think I may stop there. I might, so this is still drying, but it's still a little bit wet. I might add a couple like dots on these pears. Just to add some texture. So it's starting to dry, but it's not completely dry yet. It's still wet, so that's why it's blending. That. And there you go. There are your beautiful fall pears. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram for more. Have a great day, guys. Bye.